Do you guys have any idea how frustrating it is to research some of the crap I find? Like, seriously, you really gotta see the pattern that I see when I research all about canceled games. And the one trend that I really hate the most is the one where game devs just straight up, flat out never tell you that a game is canceled. Seriously, that happens all the time. I'm not even kidding. It's like game devs are so ashamed of having to cancel a project that they'd rather people forget about it in the first place than announce that it was canceled. Maybe it's for image or for branding's sake, or maybe they do want to pick it up in like 20 years from now, but it's really annoying. And no game is more evident than the infamous and long forgotten Tekken Cross Street Fighter. And no, I'm not talking about Street Fighter Cross Tekken, which was already released years ago with middling reviews. No, I'm talking about Namco's half of the bargain, Tekken Cross Street Fighter. It was announced on July 24th, 2010. Yes, nearly 10 fucking years ago, alongside Street Fighter Cross Tekken. The two projects were a joint venture by both Capcom and Bandai Namco in making a fighting game that was representative of the franchise's playstyle. So obviously Street Fighter Cross Tekken was a 2D styled game where the action took place on one plane, similar of course to Street Fighter, while Tekken Cross Street Fighter was a 3D game that took advantage of the entire arena, again mirroring Tekken's gameplay style. While Capcom ended up producing their side of the deal, Namco had a difficult time developing their project. See, the difficulty came in part with the Street Fighter characters. Other than Street Fighter EX, the main roster has never actually done a 3D game before, and one that suits the playstyle that one would expect out of Street Fighter characters. The translation over from 3D to 2D is far easier than 2D characters being adapted to a 3D plane, 3D dimension. There's a whole new layer of depth to add, and of course the Street Fighter boys have never seen that before. To further complicate things, the project started around the time the PS3 and Xbox 360 were considered current gen, yet once the PS4 and Xbox One were released just a few years later, the game had to be rebuilt for the next gen of consoles. So this halted the project for a bit, a project that was only 10% complete by the time of 2012 was around, according to Katsuhiro Harada, the franchise's director and producer. Then things got a little hairy when Street Fighter V and Tekken 7 were both released, and Harada didn't want to overshadow the two main games, so he put the game on halt indefinitely. Keyword halt, not cancel. This game isn't canceled according to Harada. The cards are still in place, but now in 2019, the man's just not sure if it's a good idea anymore. And he brings up some good points too, like just how relevant is the idea nowadays? The novelty of Tekken Cross Street Fighter started with the amusement of the idea that maybe Tekken characters fighting Street Fighter characters would be cool to watch or maybe kind of goofy to watch. Yet we already saw that, and not a lot of people liked it. So this could be giving Bandai Namco cold feet. What if their game ends up being just as hated? What if it's just an utter failure and nobody buys it? The second main argument is that, well, fighting games, realistically speaking, don't last very long, so the effort would just be wasted anyways, even if people consider the game to be a great fighter. With games like Street Fighter V and Tekken 7, Smash Ultimate, Guilty Gear, Dragon Ball FighterZ, you know, the games that are currently in EVO's like playlist and they're constantly being competitive and always updated. I mean, there's just simply no room for a new fighting game, especially that one that's based off of a crossover between Tekken and Street Fighter, which again are already mainstream games that get a lot of attention on their own. The game would ultimately die by the end of the year it was released, unless of course it was exceptionally good and something that needed to be played, but I doubt it. And you can't really blame Harada for not trying. The dude himself said that he has the heart and mind to go into the grind again and begin production all over again to get this game done. Hell, he even asked on Twitter whether or not people are interested in seeing the game still, with people unsurprisingly saying yes. Yet you can't argue his logic. Even though people are saying that they would absolutely love to see the game, that doesn't necessarily translate to sales. The game just might not do well, and nobody's really craving for a new crossover game by Tekken and Street Fighter. Hell, they'd rather probably just see Namco cross Capcom 2, if anything. For now, the only thing we've got left are weird slides of Ryu in 3D and this crummy promotional art. Maybe someday, but right now, there are fighting games that are currently released and are struggling to maintain an audience that totally need your support. So go out there and support them, you know, like watch them on Twitch, support them on their YouTube channels, support your favorite player, support your favorite team. I mean, there's a lot out there already that you can watch, you can enjoy, you can consume. The honest truth is, there's just no point in crying over spilled milk that isn't even there.